Good evening. I am Shelly B, a conservative Black sister surviving in a hot mess world. And today's hot mess is women that are opting to be homeless instead of paying rent. So they are living out of cars, buses, trucks, RVs, all different types of things. And I just wanted to unpack this to see, what is this? Because it's like a trend now. You can hashtag, car life or van life, and you'll see all these legions of women living in their cars, even women with kids. But first, before we get into this, and there's a whole lot to unpack, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it if you help me get this algorithm going and share these videos and just subscribe to the channel. No big deal. Just click the subscribe button, click the like button. I appreciate it. So, listen, there's a lot to unpack. I'm just warning you, this is going to be a long one. And I had some technical difficulties and I had to start over the live, but we didn't get that far. And I appreciate anybody that came back on with me. I apologize for the technical difficulties. My mic was muted or something. So just let me know if you can hear me or whatever. But it seems to be a trend now of women opting to live in their cars instead of working. I mean, instead of, paying rent. I'm just trying to get everything resituated. Sorry, guys, because everything is all discombobulated. But anyway, women are opting to live out of their cars, and it's like a thing. Like they have hashtags van life, RV life, car life, and girls are really literally living in their cars and getting like gym memberships or washing up in Walmart or wherever. The housing situation is really awful, I've had my own issues with housing, but I was never homeless, but damn near close to it during COVID. And they say that COVID really just exasperated the problem. But let's just get right into this, guys, because there is so much to unpack here. And let's see. Let's start with this one right here, because this was unbelievable to me. And I know about women living in their cars and stuff like that, but it seems like women are becoming more and more the group that is blowing up quick with homelessness. And I just wanted to try to unpack, why is this happening? And, I can understand why women, wouldn't want to pay rent, but at the same time, like, do you really want to just live in your car? It just seems really unsafe. But as always, this is a man's perspective and it's a man reacting to this situation. And I like to always show women a man's perspective, because I just say over and over that I think women are very delusional a lot of the times how men think about things. And this is no different. I can't say I'm surprised at how this guy felt about it, but I thought maybe they might have a little empathy, but they have none.
Homelessness hustle on YouTube, most especially. Now, I had about 5 videos sent to me by the YouTube algorithm of Black women living in their cars. And they're not asking for help. Well, they are. They are asking for donations. But what they're doing is they're selling it as a great thing. They're not talking about.
And see, that's the thing, y'all, that these women are really just making it seem like it's just the thing to do. It's the new thing to do, for, women is to be homeless and live in their car and, not pay rent. And, it's a fabulous life. And, look at me, I still look gorgeous and I live in my car. Look at this.
How desperate they are, how much they need help. They will casually ask for help, but for the most part, they sell living in cars like the new lifestyle that's bringing them peace. I'm going to read my response to it for those who may not be able to see it on the screen. It said, emotional breakthroughs aside, in this video, this is the 5th video that's popped up since last night.
And like the only thing that's standing out to me, that she's homeless, living in her car, and she's dancing around like it's the best thing. Like, these women, is something wrong with them? Or is this really an option for women, that can't afford to pay their bills, is to go live in their car and enjoy life? I mean, me personally, that is not an option for me, and when I had my own issues with housing and stuff like that, that just wasn't an option to me because I have a child. But you're going to see that there's women that are living with their kids like this.
With Black women trying to make homelessness look like a viable choice and the new source of their happiness, at least until their car or van breaks down in the snow.
How about that?
So first, they were talking about independence and not needing men. Then black men were too broke and only wanted 50-50. Then it was they should date
Hey,
up.
check out this. Yo, how far do we kick the can down the road? Homeless by choice is the gateway to you will own nothing and be happy. Who said that? Klaus Schwab at the World Economic Forum, that in the future, the people will have nothing. They will own absolutely nothing and they will be very happy. And these girls do kind of represent that, owning nothing and being happy. I don't think I would be happy if I was living in my car, but these girls are presenting in that way. I was just wondering what people think about this.
Other races, most particularly white men, because they were too loyal to black men and should expand their options. Then it was Passport Sisters, an attempted revival of something they kicked off in Black America in the 1990s with How Stella Got Her Groove Back. Now they're liberated, living in vans and cars and Walmart parking lots. Anything but cooperation.
See, I have to say, I do agree with him in the fact that, feminism allowed for this because everybody wanted to be like a man and do man shit. And, they don't need a man and they could do everything on their own. And look at where it has got women. You know what I'm saying? Alone, single parenthood, now to living in their cars and just being straight homeless. You understand? I never understood that mentality. I say all the time, I need a man for everything.
Please make this make sense. Hashtag pride.
Being single is a luxury, and that might be a luxury that you can no longer afford. That's for men and for women, but
Right.
specifically for women, that might be a luxury you can no longer afford.
Now,
High
this is the
ego.
thing too. These girls are homeless, but they're eating expensive ribs and steaks and stuff for dinner. They get their nails done or whatever. They work. Some of them work and they have jobs. Well, all of them, I think, work and have jobs and stuff, but they feel that they're living a better lifestyle and they keep more of their money not paying rent.
The ladies, instead of getting on a black man's program, they would much rather be single in their car, and I think that's perfectly okay. I think black men need to hold them to that, make them mean it.
Somebody says on here, homelessness journey. If you're leaking, just say that. So these girls are on here saying, yeah, I'm homeless, but I live in my car, but I meant to do that. And I'm like happy. I'm living my best life. Look at me. I look good or whatever. It's really insane. I thought it was unbelievable.
Let me offer something.
Yeah.
Housewife, yes. Women writ large, black women specifically, they'll sign up for that. Being a wife and having to contribute financially while still having the man have the last say, that is when they draw the line. The problem that we have here is a marketized view of manhood and masculinity that women refuse to let go, even though they got hit with the equality and egalitarianism that they demanded. You have the equality and egalitarianism, fine. You want to go 50-50, fine.
This girl on the end is saying, come with me as living in my car as a PCA healthcare worker. So these girls have jobs. They just opting to live in their cars and not pay rent. And they seem to like it. That's how they're presenting it. Is this true or false?
Fine. You want egalitarian, fine. But when men show women what egalitarian look like, they start, and there's been a number of researchers that show this, that women are just as hard up on patriarchy as ever. They just want, as I usually say,
somebody writes, try changing your attitude and maybe a good guy will move you in. Now, black women are always, known for having a bad attitude. They don't, single mothers get a bad rap and stuff like that. And honestly, I have to say that, some of these younger women, they're very delusional in their value, sometimes. And, they just, they're pretty off-putting to me, some of them. That's just my opinion. And he's like, change your attitude. Maybe a guy will move you in, So, guys are not really feeling much empathy for the women. And, it's not looking too good for women today. That whole liberation, women's liberation. And, I want to be like a man and I want to be masculine and I want to do man shit. Men are like, fine. And, they've kind of got comfortable in the role of not doing anything for women. So
say patriarchy by feminist specifications.
that part.
That's when all of this hit the wall. So will the women sign up for housewife? Oh yeah. But when you tell them wife, but you still go to work, oh, that's when they're like, oh, actually, nope. and so be it. Mr. Z is all about it. So be it. Then starve. So there was an article that was published. There's a couple of things going on right now that's going to
This is fascinating because another man said the exact same thing in the video I used the other day, that he's saying how women say like they don't, they want to be this housewife and everything, but they don't want to, they want to be a housewife, they want a man, and they want to, have this kind of like housewife life with a man and stuff. But then when they have to work, they don't want to do that. So it's like you rather live in your car than live with a man and work, and y'all share the expenses. Because I feel like a lot of times women aren't realizing that if it's hard for you, it's even harder for men, because I feel like it's even a higher expectation for men. So I don't see why it makes no sense why you would choose to leave a man and be on your own than stay with the man and y'all put your monies together and you work and y'all live and y'all build. It's a crazy mentality, but it comes up a lot and men say it all the time. And I'm starting to see that's like a main thing that guys are saying, and it really doesn't make any sense.
Exacerbate this. I just want everybody, especially if you black, to hold on to your hats. Number one, the top 10% are spending 50% of the money in America.
Right.
They're 50% of the consumerism is going on by the top 10% of Americans, which is largely not black people. We already know this. That's number one.
A woman with her child living in her car or living in a van somewhere camping. My thing is like, when do they go to school? Like, are they homeschooling them? Like, what is this? Because there's another lady in these videos that has an 11-year-old, and I'm like, well, damn, how the hell, where are they going to school at? My son is 13 and he's like 6'3", 6'4" already. My son was always a big kid. I can't imagine living in no car or no van or no truck, not even an RV with my son. So I don't understand how this works.
Number two, the wealth transfer that's going to go from the boomers to their largely millennial children is not going to include us. So that's going to exacerbate the issue even more. Right? Number two. Number three, because we're not married, that makes whatever wealth or whatever 50 grand or 100,000 or 25,000 your parents are gonna leave you, that's gonna pale in comparison, because the two white folks that got married, they're getting double the money. Right. You see what I'm saying? So all of this is exacerbating the wealth disparity.
Look at what the comment says. It says, so when they say they choose to be homeless or childless, they are telling us they have a psychological fear of losing their freedom and control. They have choices, but they always choose to do the things to screw up their lives. They always make really dumb choices, and it makes them I don't even understand what they're trying to say. Makes them and the collective of our people an embarrassment globally. Why do they refuse to see that? Then wonder why they get a lot of judgment. So I mean, I do think that's true, because it is bad choices. You understand? Like, if you don't want to submit to a man and you don't want to be in you don't want to lose your freedom, then don't get a man, don't have kids with no man, and just stay single and do you or whatever. You know what I mean? But if you're not good at managing your money and you don't know how to, and you don't earn enough money to afford rent where you live, then you need to work on that. You understand? I don't know. I just don't know. I don't understand this. I really don't understand this. I don't know.
And remember the article that came out years ago that said, black wealth will be zero by 2053. I want everybody to remember that was before COVID. That was before COVID. COVID sped that timeline up. Number one. Yeah. Number two, what's going on with everything and Trump and the way he's organizing things. And remember, most black people that work for government. All of that's exacerbating.
That is true.
So I want us to hold on to our hats, and black women are going to have to make some different type of decisions in calculus. It's about to hurt. I hope all those content creators, all those black girl in luxury, the scrollers, the investors, all of that stuff, I hope you mean it. I hope you mean it, because it's about to be tough.
It's right. And like I said, I mean, I would not. You hit the nail on the head. I think at this point, if you are trying to navigate this by yourself, particularly as a woman, it's like, I mean, I won't say game over, but I'm like, good luck. Good luck.
Because I just can't imagine a lot of these girls are living in parking lots in their car. It just seems very unsafe. A lot of them go park their vans or their cars in a Walmart parking lot or whatever. But it just seems so scary, you know. But this is what liberations has got women is fending for themselves, and they're seeing that you can't fend for yourself. You need that man. You probably need a man. You need help. You understand? Some women are lucky to where God, like I say, I'm very blessed where I get by. But since COVID, my industry has been terrible and it's been a bit of a struggle. But by the grace of God, I get by and I hustle, you know, because just living out my car just is not an option to me. And I don't even manifest that for myself. I don't put that into the universe. It never crosses my mind that I would not have a place to live. You understand? I'm showing this because I want people to elevate their frequency. Like, I just feel like if you know your value, you will not accept this. You understand? You know what I mean? I would not want to be homeless unless I was in some type of abusive situation with a man. You know what I mean? But if your man is asking you to work and help pay bills, I don't see where the problem is in that. But a lot of women have a problem and then they end up like this. It doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know what to tell you. I would not want to navigate these next few months by myself. I would not want to navigate these next few months without a faith in God.
There
And I
you go.
definitely wouldn't want to do it without a husband, without a community. All those things, that's when these things become essential.
Look what the comment says. Times have changed for a lot of people. You won't be able to survive if you're single anymore, not with a roof over your head. It says a lot about these women's character that they have neither men nor girlfriends to live. Now, I don't really feel that, you know, because nobody wants to help you, because I feel like most people are in a situation where they're living paycheck to paycheck. They're barely getting by. Most people can hardly afford their bills that they have, you know, and they can't afford to have somebody come and stay. Now, me, honestly, I don't want nobody to come and stay with me. I just don't. That's why I work hard and I manage my money and I save my money so I don't have to have nobody come and stay with me. I would love to have a husband, but until I find that person on my frequency, I'll stay like this because it's peaceful and my son is happy and we're happy. I live in a peaceful, lovely place. And, you know, I'm happy like this, you know, unless I find somebody to improve upon that, I don't see no reason to take myself through that, you know, but a lot of people need roommates. I know a lot of people that are my age that work in my industry and everything and have, you know, they have roommates and stuff like that. It's just very expensive. You know, I live in the New York City tri-state area. It's very expensive here. You know what I mean? I used to live in New York City. I moved out of New York City to New Jersey because it wasn't cheaper. I actually pay more. I just get more for my money in New Jersey and the schools are better and stuff like that. So, you know, it's hard for everybody. And I don't think that because let me tell you, I've had times when I needed help from people and I couldn't get any. You understand? Everybody, once you get in a hard time, you're going to see that you don't really have anybody to help you. It's even the people that you help all the time don't want to help you. You know what I mean? Either because they just don't have no money or they're selfish or whatever, you know? So you guys got to think about that. You know, I tell my son all the time, you got to really budget your money and, you know, pave your own way because most people are not going to help you. You know, you have a few rare people in your life that really have your back, that are really going to go the distance for you, or, you know, nobody's going to pay your rent for you. Nobody's going to pay your bills for you. And they're not going to let you come and live with them. And they know that you don't have no job and they're going to be stuck with you and all that. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you were talking about how the issue that woman has is they're okay being a pampered housewife if that means they don't have to be submissive. But the idea of being a wife to a man and you still have to work and pay bills and submit to him or be cooperative, it's like, no, they're not willing to do that.
But listen, it's a unit. You understand? This is what a lot of women are stupid, because even if you get this dream, you know, delusional dream that you have of a man that's rich, you could take care. It's not like you're just going to be doing nothing all day. You don't have no expectations just to sit around all day. I mean, you have to manage the house, if anything. You understand? To me, that's the job. If you're going to manage a nice home, that where everything is running properly. If you have kids, they're where they need to be, what and the house is managed, everything that the house needs is running and this and that. I keep a lot of notes to make sure my house runs right. You understand? So they think, what do they think they're going to just do all day? Just sit around and do nothing? There's things to do. You know what I mean? Maybe you'll work in the business. Maybe there's something to do. Why would a man want you if you are of no use? That's what I just don't understand how these girls are thinking, because there's really young women that think like this. Because you think somebody's just going to come in and take care of you. For what reason? What would be the reason somebody would want to just have you come and take care of you when you do absolutely nothing for them? I know I don't want to take care of nobody to do absolutely nothing for me. But when my son was young, a house husband would have been great for me if my husband could have been home. Because listen, I worked, you know what I mean? And a lot of the times those nannies and stuff cost so much money, you might as well stay home. You understand? So that, you work together and you figure it out. It's going to be good times and bad times. These women now, they just, and look what the options they have. You could go be with a man and do your part and work together, or you could be a selfish bitch and don't want to do shit, and then you be living in your car. Like, which is it? But I feel like the ship has sailed on that, because now men don't want to be bothered. They're dating women of, other races. They date more mature women, all kinds of things. These young girls, I don't know what they're going to do.
That is the setup that they don't want. But
that's going to come at a consequence.
So it's like, yeah. And like I said, in that sense, are they going to choose homelessness over being a housewife or a wife, period? Well, perhaps. That's what it seems like. But I'm just saying that doesn't work. Huh?
There's ways to think about homeless. If I live in South Florida, our money is crazy. It's been like that forever. The prices of things have been crazy forever. It's gotten worse as more wealthy people have moved down. We have
these girls go into public bathrooms and fix their stuff up. A lot of them get gym memberships and stuff like that, health club memberships, and that's where they shower and get dressed every day.
Number of billionaires that live in Florida. I think we're even ahead of. Are we ahead of Texas? I think we're even ahead of Texas, even though we got like 2/3 of the population of Texas, something like that in Florida, of billionaires, right? So that, and that's driving the price of everything up. And Jeff Bezos is moving down here too. So there you go. Right. So when you consider that, the way women writ large have gotten away from the stigma of homelessness was to live in their parents' home for an extended amount of time. We're talking about 30-something, 40-something years old, right? And I'm Haitian descent, so that's nothing to us. We don't really have a stigma about it, especially if you're not married and you don't have any kids. It's nothing to have an aunt who's in her late 30s and she living at home.
That is true about American culture, really, especially Black people in America. It's like once your kids get 18, it's like get out. Where other cultures, they might keep their children for a long time or forever if they're useful to the family. And we do look at that. Like he said, we stigmatize it if you don't get on your feet straight out of high school or straight out of college, you just don't get that support. So that is something to look at.
With your grandparents, because she never got married or has kids. But what I think is going to happen are women are going to try to do the Golden Girls thing, which is going to be 4 or 5 deep in one house or one apartment. And I'm going to tell you right now, Shay, it's going to be some DV in the house. It's going to be some DV in that apartment, because the problem has always been the behavior. And if you never learned how to control your behavior and think about things differently, y'all gonna be fighting over the cereal. Y'all gonna be fighting.
I just want to say about Black culture, particularly as it pertains to females. They've been groomed to embrace independence over everything. Independence is the top. It's the Smurfberries to Smurf. It's the honor to Kunans. It is the most important.
You want to be independent and live in a car or RV. Listen, I don't want that kind of independence. Okay, I don't. Only RV I'm gonna have is with me and my husband when we get retiring, riding cross country. You know what I'm saying, and then park that shit in the wintertime or whatever. Like, come on, you know what I mean? Like one lady I was talking to, she was saying her parents lived on a boat for like 2 years or whatever. Or it might even have been longer. They had like a boat or yacht or something, they lived on that. And eventually she said her mother got tired of it and they got another house and they stopped. Like, you can't live like that for so long. You understand? So how long are you going to, make a, Dave says, hi, Dave. He says, black culture is backwards. It really is. And it is embarrassing. Like everybody said in this, it's embarrassing. You understand? It's really embarrassing. I would rather, a respectable man, not a man that is toxic. But if you have a respectable man and you got to work and he's working, what's the problem? You're delusional if you don't think. Listen, my grandparents come from that era of where, man pays for everything. And my grandfather did pay for everything. And she didn't really have to work, but she did work. She worked at a department store just to have her little money to do what she wanted to do, whatever. You're going to really just sit around and do nothing and depend on this man for every last thing. You know what I mean? My grandmother would work and she had money to buy the stuff she wanted. She might want some special furniture or something. He don't want to pay for it or whatever. You know what I mean? That was her way of being independent. You know what I mean? Have her little job so she could buy what she want to do and travel and do what the hell she want to do without asking him. You know what I mean? But he took care of the mortgage and the bills and the house and this and that, the cars or whatever he did. You know what I mean? So that's why I keep telling women, you're being delusional about the things that you. This to me, you can't make this make sense to me. And I just see women just on a downward spiral. And it's not just black women. You're going to see all kinds of women throughout this life.
Certain thing that there possibly could be. It's the roadrunner to the coyote. It's the most important thing ever, independence, which means that
and she's looking
she would
so
rather
happy,
be an
like
independent homeless woman than to be a dependent, because if she's entering a relationship with no money and no place to live, she's dependent on the man. She would rather be an independent.
And a lot of these girls' vans are from like the 80s, y'all. No bullshit. These vans are old as hell. So they're not going to tell you the downside of living in your van, because the fixed-in, the gas and stuff like that is absurd. To think to get on social media and be an influencer to try to get women to live in a van. You know what I mean? We're trying to elevate our frequency. I feel like this is lowering the frequency. I could see like having a van and maybe, having it to travel, but you have a place to live. I just don't think that that's sustainable for a long period of time. Especially the women that have kids. Single woman, whatever. But when you have kids, this just didn't make no sense to me with kids.
Homeless woman than a dependent wife or girlfriend or whatever.
I can't. No one can make me understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I can't. But I just wanted to read a little bit about homelessness of among women and why this is an issue. This to me is exhausting. Like I just can't even imagine why women would want to opt for this. I mean, I just feel like they don't have any choice. They don't have any choice. So they're going to try to make it seem like they're living their best life doing this so they don't look stupid. But I'm just sorry. This is crazy to me that this is a thing, and like, oh, look, I'm homeless. I look gorgeous and everything, and do this. I mean, not for nothing, I really shouldn't even judge in this way, because I know the housing is very, very expensive. But again, if we could change our attitude and get out of this feminist mentality, maybe we could heal our relationships with men and be able to live in the same house with somebody and not be crazy and work together and build something. So I asked, is homelessness among women on the rise? Yes, homelessness among women is on the rise, particularly unsheltered homelessness, okay? Which means you're living in a tent or your car or just out on the street or whatever. While the overall number of homeless people is still higher among men, the proportion of women experiencing homelessness, especially unsheltered homelessness, has been increasing. This increase is more pronounced than the increase seen in men experiencing unsheltered homelessness. Okay? And it just goes on and on about, women are the fastest growing group and this and that. And, you know, why the number of women experiencing unsheltered homelessness has increased by 25.1% between 2018 and 2022. And I'm sure COVID had a lot to do with that, because that just messed up everybody's money. While the number of shelter homeless women has decreased by 4.6%. So I don't know. I feel like people don't want to live in shelters because I don't know. That's not safe. I wouldn't choose that option either. The increase in unsheltered homelessness among women is disproportionate compared to the general population, with a reverse trend in seen in sheltered homelessness. Women experiencing homelessness face unique challenges, including domestic violence, trauma, and mental health concerns. Now, we had a discussion about this. Shout out Trina, because she was trying to say to me that a lot of the problems that Black single mothers have and stuff, mental illness is a big part of it. And I really didn't want to believe her, but since that discussion, I feel like she was 100, because a lot of it is mental health issues, you know, bipolar disorders or different, you know, personality disorders and stuff like that. You know, some of it could be domestic violence, and a lot of it sometimes could be from childhood trauma that caused them to be toxic in their relationships and stuff like that, which is all falls under mental health. You understand? So I feel that she was 100% right in what she said after, you know, we had the discussion and I really looked at it. She was right. So, you know, and again, a lot of the reason why a lot of women are becoming homeless too is, like I said, I feel like COVID had a lot to do with it. A lot of housing issues, because housing can be very expensive. Thank you so much, Dave. I need glasses to read and see far away. I could only see in the middle range, but I don't even need them anymore for now. But so, you know, I just feel like the housing costs are very expensive, and I feel like women and men, they need to really try to figure out how they can mend their relationships. You know, I know they blame women all the time, but sometimes the men can be very toxic, abusive, and stuff like that. I just feel like it's so much work to do, and nobody wants to really admit what the problem is, and it's just crazy. So I just wanted to show you this because everybody knows about Dawn Robinson, but if you don't, I'm going to show this right here. I actually really like Dawn. And you know, a lot of people were saying that, oh, she, you know, she was one of the creator of In Vogue, actually. And she admitted to living in her car for like 2 years. And, you know, she got a lot of backlash and stuff like that from it. And, you know, but it's really a thing. Women are choosing this lifestyle. But I'm just going to play this quick video just in case any of you don't know about this. But she's like the most famous person I to choose to live in their car.
You guys, for the past almost 3 years, I have been living in my car. I said it. Oh my God, it's out.
En Vogue's Dawn Robinson is living life on the road and loving it.
If you would have said to me while I was in En Vogue, you're going to be living in your car one day, I'd be like, huh? No, I'm always going to have an apartment. I can't live in my car. How can I do that? That means that a lot of people are paying attention to En Vogue, that we are now an entity, that, you know, we are a thing that people talk about and go to see and watch the videos and all that stuff.
Yeah, things are looking a lot different these days for the singer, but she says this new lifestyle wasn't something she was forced into, but something she decided was right for her after realizing she couldn't live with her parents.
I love my mom, but she became very angry. And I was like, I can't deal with this.
And having trouble finding a permanent home after getting empty.
And like she's saying how like and a lot of people say this, like wherever situation they're in, they get fed up with it, be it your abusive partner. She's saying it was her family. Some people say they get tired of paying rent and struggling. I've heard women say that, you know, they just got overwhelmed with trying to pay mortgages and bills and stuff like that, and they just got fed up. You know what I mean? I never got that fed up with my situation, but I can understand how you could. It's just messed up the options that you have when that happens. You know what I mean? It's very sad, you know, But again, is it sad if they're really happy living like that? Like, we like to go camping, and I could probably, be like that for a week or so, and then that's it. I'm ready to go home and get in the bed and all that. And then when we go camping, I have a big air mattress and all that, and it's pretty comfortable, Honestly, I don't really like cooking on the fire but I know how to do it. But I was in Girl Scouts and Brownies, and I know how to survive a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm a sporty girl. I know how to thug it out. But do I want to live like that indefinitely? But some people do like that lifestyle of just being kind of nomadic. Like I said, like when I retire, if I had a husband or whatever, I wouldn't mind RVing across country with him and stuff like that. But I just like to know that I have a home to go home to, or I can stay in a hotel every now and then. Like when you get older, you don't really need as much and stuff like that. So it could be possible as you get older. But these young women, I don't understand. But listen what the rest of Dawn's gonna say.
Promises from a manager of hers.
He said that I could stay with him, and he actually didn't have room for me. So it turned into, okay, well, I'm going to put you in a hotel for the night. And that one night turned into 8 months. Every apartment that I looked at, I would call him. And
somebody said before when this video first came out that, she got a silk press, so she can't be doing that bad, you know what I'm saying, to get her, have her hair look like that. So like I'm saying, a lot of these girls, they look great. And you wouldn't even know that they were homeless, how they're put together or whatever.
Okay, can you meet me here? And then he wouldn't meet me there. And so I would take video and send it to him. And he's like, no, oh my God, this neighborhood, I hate it. I'm like, dude, I'm the one who has to live here.
That's when Dawn discovered
there's a whole community of people that live in their cars. And I love.
Man, listen, it is. If you hashtag car life, van life, RV life, you will see it's thousands of women, men, everybody from all over that is doing this. It's not it's a large population of people. That's what surprised me. I was very surprised that many people are doing it.
Loved what I was seeing. I just thought, wow, these people, I can do that. I could do this. I just felt like it was the right thing to do. I didn't regret it. A lot of
people think like when you live in your car, like you're just going to be in your car dirty or whatever. Like a lot of times some people park, they have gym memberships and they go every day and shower or whatever, get dressed, work out, whatever they're going to do. Some places, like if you have an RV or a larger vehicle, you can park like at a campsite and they have water and bathrooms and showers and stuff. So it's not as gangster as you think. If you don't have a lot of belongings and stuff like that, and you just like a no frills kind of person, it is doable. You understand?
Have lived in their cars, been researching it, and I know I can do this. It's not like, oh my God, poor Dawn. She's living in her car and it's terrible. Oh, what was me? It's not that. It's not, like I said, I'm learning about who I am. It's been an unexpected path that I've enjoyed quite a bit. Any kind of sacrifice. It's like, God, did I do the right thing? And then you see the end result. When I succeed again, because I will, getting to that point is only up to me. So from here, from my car into that life is going to be amazing.
Well, honestly, I feel like, like I said, it's a whole community of people out there that's doing it. It's so expensive to live. And if you could thug it out like that, one thing I could say about camping and stuff like that, it is serene, it's relaxing. A lot of the people pour their cars and RVs to beautiful sites and stuff, lakes and stuff like that. So it could be, you understand? I don't think nothing of it for single women. I really don't. I really don't think nothing of it for single women. It's just the women that have children that fuck me up. You understand? Shout out to Dawn. I like her a lot. I wish you the best, sis.
From this point, and succeeding again is going to be amazing. I see it in my mind.
I see it for you too, girl. And let me tell you something. She might be right because when she posted that, her page blew up like in a couple of days. Like she had like so many more followers and stuff like that, and people, looking at her or whatever. So, maybe it did. Maybe it was good that she did speak her truth on it or whatever. So let's keep moving on because we got a lot to unpack here. So Here's one of a young lady that is a single mother. Now, like I said, for a single person, I don't really think it's that big of a deal because which one is this? Because you're single. You know what I mean? And it's just you, and I don't think it's no big deal, if you live in a car by yourself, that's fine. But I feel like with a child now, it gets different. I'm trying to make this a little bit.
This is my morning routine as a single mom living in a van, waking up in a Walmart parking lot. So, of course, as soon as we wake up, I make sure to give my toddler lots and lots of cuddles and kisses. Then I like to throw on some clothes because it's a little chilly and I want to make sure we are as warm as possible. After putting myself together, I go on to put Kareem's jacket on and he pulls off the window covers. This is our beautiful view of Walmart. We don't usually park.
It's like having kids in this. He's 11. Where does he go to school? How do you enroll a child in school when you're living in a van? You can't. So are these kids getting educated? That was the question that I had, and I still haven't been clear with that. Are they homeschooling these kids? Are these mothers even equipped to homeschool their kid? As much as I hated the school system, I did not feel I was equipped to homeschool my kid. Now, if I could have found somebody to do it, that would have been different, but I couldn't even find a homeschool situation for my son, because with the vaccine and everything, I really was trying to get him homeschooled or whatever. And I do feel that kids that are homeschooled, if it's done properly, they are very bright, but I just feel like it's too unstable for kids. I just don't think that that's a really great home life for a kid. I don't know. I'm not
In parking lots, but sometimes that's the case. I then go in to make up the bed so I don't have to do it later on. We then get out of the van and walk into Walmart to use the restroom and brush our teeth. I do have a toilet in my van, but we are already sleeping in a Walmart parking lot, so we might as well utilize all of their services. Since I didn't need anything in Walmart, we were able to just run back to the van. And immediately I get started with cooking some breakfast. So then I set up my kitchen, which is the basic 2-burner propane stove. While I'm doing this, my toddler is usually watching his morning show on his iPad. Today, we are making something very simple.
And I wonder, do these girls work? Like, what is it? Do they work? Do they get welfare? Like, how do you survive living in a van with a child? Like, do you childcare? I don't know how they make a living. It's very questionable.
Sausage, pancakes, and hash browns per Kareem's request. But this is only a pit stop till we get to our next destination. So if you really like these morning routines and you want to see what we get up to next, follow along. This is my morning routine as a single mom.
So what y'all think about that? You know what I mean? Mothers with their kids living in vans and whatnot. Like, I don't know. I don't know. This is another young lady that's pretty popular. She's living her best life in her van. I don't see it. But this girl has a popular channel, and I just feel like they're all making it seem so fabulous, but nobody's saying the downside of this. Like, what is the negative part of it?
What's up? If you don't know me, my name is Bianca Smith, also known as Miss Off the Grid with a Kid on YouTube and Instagram. And right now, I want to share something super.
Like, where are these children's fathers? Like, these fathers are like, how come there's no father saying, you know what? Let me go get my child because this is crazy. Off the grid with a kid, that ain't cute. Is that child in school? Like, that just seems too unstable for me. I don't even like when parents keep moving, switching school, moving, getting evicted, moving. I don't think that's good for kids either. The kids need stability. So nobody can make me understand this.
Very exciting with you guys. I'm making a series on YouTube called The First 30 Days of Van Life. And the reason why I'm doing this is because 2.5 years ago, my son and I, he's 11 years old, his name is Carter, we decided to try van life. And this has been the greatest experience in the entire world. Let me tell you, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I didn't care. I didn't know anybody that.
See, I'm sorry, but this is where the mental illness I think is coming into play, because I'm sorry. How do you think you're living your best life and you're sitting on social media telling people to live in a van with their child? I mean, I can't process this.
Even did van life. I didn't even know that there was a culture. Okay. When we bought this 1989 Ford Econoline, it felt
a 1989 Ford Econoline. You know how much maintenance and money and gas that is. I don't know.
Like I bought a spaceship and I had to figure out a lot. And let me tell you, before we decided to drop everything and travel the world full time, I had always bought fancy vehicles and I was always trying to keep up with the Joneses. Let me know if you can relate, okay? I'm a single mom. I was doing pretty good for myself. On the outside, everything looked good, but the reality was is that I was still trying to keep up with the Joneses, though I had tons of debt and I had no time to spend with my loved ones. And I just said, forget all that. All right, we're going to change that. So I paved the way, created a new lifestyle, and the rest has been history. So since then, our story has inspired thousands of people around.
She ain't lying, because it's thousands of people living in vans. Now, there's some people that have money that are not, that are very well off, that have these beautiful buses and RVs that are amazing. Now, I could be in one of those, but even still, I mean, some of those cost like $100,000 to get that right. You understand? And they're beautiful, have washing dryers and stuff. Because you could, like I said, you can pull up to the RV site, plug in the water, and wash your clothes. It's fantastic. I would love to have a bus or RV or something like that when I get old and travel and stuff like that. I would love that. But would I want to live in it all the time? I just don't think I would live in it. But some of them have queen size beds in them and stuff like that. They're very cute. Now that I could see. But if you can afford that, you know what I'm saying? You can afford anything, in my opinion, because I feel like some of those buses and stuff, they fabulous, So I don't know. Listen.
World that want to completely define and design a new reality and definition of what success means for their family. And let me tell you, if it means being able to have time freedom so that you can just enjoy your loved ones, work from anywhere, and be able to see the world like never before,
you're lying. You're not going to be able to see the world with a 1989 Econoline van. That shit going to break down before you even get out of the United States. Okay? Stop it. Stop it. Even when you have a big RV that's beautiful and nice, they need maintenance. Any car needs maintenance, and they're very expensive. If you're going to travel the world in an 1989 Econoline, I guarantee you, before you get cross country, that van is going to need lots of service. It's going to take a ton of gas to run that old vehicle. Stop it. I just feel like this is just ridiculous. This is too much for me. I
don't want to miss this series that I'm doing on YouTube called The First 30 Days of Van Life. Even if you're not going to do van life, this series will teach you how to be nomadic, how to completely define and design your own version of how you just want to live your life. And so in the next video, what I'm going to be talking about,
my version of living my life is at least a queen size bed, a shower and a toilet when I need it, a kitchen with a stove to cook. I ain't got to have nothing super fancy. You understand? I'm humble. Even if I became very wealthy or something, I still would have a modest home, because I just feel like you don't need that much living space and it's a waste of money, because I'm very frugal. Very frugal. So that is why I've never been one of those keeping up with the Jones type of mothers. I'm a single parent. I've never been one of those keeping up with the Jones mothers. We're going to keep up with each other and be comfortable as we can be. You understand? I'll buy you some books. You know what I'm saying? I'll buy you new sneakers, new clothes. Like I prioritize, and that's how, I was able to survive as a single mother. I was never trying to impress nobody. First thing I did was stop doing my hair once I had my son, going into my natural state, because that costs money. I don't wear nails. That costs money too. I don't have time for that. You understand? And she said how she played herself, because she didn't have priorities right, and she was, wasting her money, basically. You understand? So I feel like they're full of shit, some of these girls. Because just like somebody said in the first video's comments, you make dumb choices for your life. And then so you don't feel stupid, you're going to make it seem like it's a good thing to do. And you're going to try to draw everybody down on this frequency with you. Now, mind you, I don't mind a single person, because I feel like a single person is actually an option. You have a gym membership and you go every day and shower and whatnot. It's just you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see a problem with that. And I feel like that might be a way to really save a lot of money, honestly, to be honest. You know what I mean? So for single girls, I feel like it's great. I don't really think women should be out like that. I just feel like it's dangerous for them. But hey, make sure you have your weapons and your mace or whatever and thug it out. You probably could save a ton of money like that. For men, I definitely see it as an option. But for women with kids, I just don't see why you're promoting this and why you're making it seem like this is a great environment for a child. Look how small it is in there.
About is how to find the right van or RV before you start van life. And the reason why I'm going to be talking
the right van and RV is the one you get to park in the driveway of your home. That's the right van and RV to get.
About this is because so many people overlook how important it is to consider buying the right RV. Because on Instagram and in the magazines, when you see a nice little RV in the middle of nowhere, it looks like a fantasy. But the truth is that most of us van lifers that are out here self-camping, or most of the van lifers that are full-time, do a lot of self-camping, and we're not always in these pretty little destinations. And if you're working remotely and you rely on Wi-Fi, you're not always going to be in the middle of nowhere. So anyways,
that's what I'm saying. This is inconvenient. Now, if you have a child on homeschool and you don't have Wi-Fi, how are they getting educated? That's why I say I don't care what grown people do. You understand? But the kids, I never hear them talk about their kids. I never hear them. That's why I'm with my aunt with the mental illness part, because I don't ever hear them talk about their kids. It's so great for them and they're living their best life and this was the best decision she had ever made. But what about your kids? That seems like a lonely life, no school, no friends, you're nomadic. I just don't feel that that's a stable life for kids. You might not have any other options, and I understand that. I'm not being insensitive to that magnitude, but she said that she had a better situation, but she messed up her money. She had a lot of debt from living beyond her means.
I'm going to talk about how important it is to consider things like, where in the world are you going to park this RV? How big is it? What are your non-negotiables inside the RV? Because I don't know about you, but I don't want to be chasing a toilet in the morning. I will chase Wi-Fi all day long, but not a toilet. So anyway, stick around, stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to Off the Grid with the Kid. Tap that notification bell so that you are notified every time.
I can't even listen to no more. Listen. Elevate your frequency. Don't listen to that. Have bigger dreams, bigger aspirations for yourself. I know it can be hard, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like when you have kids, you have to do better to have discernment, and you have to do better at managing your money. If you and your child have to go live in a room together, that's better than living in a van where they can't go to school. When I first came to New York, I lived in a room, and then I saved my money, got my first apartment, and I just kept working myself up. And the next thing is history. I had my first child at 40 years old because I knew that wasn't something that I could handle. I don't understand why young women get pregnant and know that they can't really manage the situation. All right, let me just show. I got two more videos I want to show y'all, and then we're going to get off here. And I'm not going to listen to this one. We're not going to watch this one fully because there's something I want to show you at the end. But we want to unpack this because I really think that, this is important to discuss this because I don't get it. Like, we are digressing so fast. And you know what I mean? It's all this women's liberation, all this and that, and I don't need a man and all this and that. And that's what's messing women up. Now look where you're at. And men don't want to be bothered with your ass and shit. It's horrible.
Good morning and welcome back to another day of a woman living in a tent.
This intro is so long. Let me skip this song. All right, I'm gonna let y'all hear what he had to
Back
say
with
though.
another video review. Of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Hit that bell while you are here. So with this,
Like I said, I always like to show a man's perspective on things because women, they do not know what men really think about them, and they do not really listen what men want and their opinions about the shit women be doing.
video review, we're going to go over how women are becoming homeless. Yes, I said it. Women are becoming homeless. Although this has happened.
Watch the advice he's going to give to men with this. Just watch this.
Happening before the mass layoffs, but now it's going to get worse. We're going to see more women making TikToks, making videos about being homeless, living in their car. So let's go ahead and jump into these videos and see what's going on. Yeah, so here's the first video. And, I want to tell you guys, you're going to have to be careful, dealing with women nowadays, because now that a lot of these women are becoming homeless, they are going to be looking for a place to stay. So that's when you're going to have to be careful. Watch yourself, because you are going to.
I mean, not for nothing. Women can say too that men be trying to find a place to stay. I've had men many times try to come and stay with me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, no. And like, I remember when I was single, I will always have extra space because I have a lot of equipment. So I always would have at least 2 bedrooms when I was single. One place I had 3 bedrooms. And people used to always want to come and stay. Oh, you don't want a roommate? No, I don't. Oh, you got 3 bedrooms to yourself? Yes, I do. You know what I mean?
Basically going to try to use you like how they've been doing for so long. They are going to do it even more. So go ahead and check this out.
I mean, look at these girls. They're beautiful. Done up, sitting in their car. It says, day 53, no family, friends, living in my car, starting over. Thanks for being here. I appreciate all of you. So she's feeling in her feelings because nobody, wants to help her. But that's the reality of life. And you have to keep that in mind that nobody's going to help your ass.
Like I said, we'll start seeing more of this. It's going to be sad. But brothers, watch yourself.
I live in my 2006 Honda Accord, and this is what it's like to wake up in a 24-hour Planet Fitness parking lot. I start by getting dressed, and then the longest part of my morning routine is always taking down all of my window coverings, but they are essential for sleeping in my car, so I do it anyways. Then I climb over into the driver's seat and take down my window coverings there. I actually already went into this Planet Fitness last night to take a shower, for all of you who say that I don't shower. So this morning I can go ahead and
this is the thing. A lot of these people, they get gym memberships, and that's how they, keep clean. They work out, they put their makeup on and do their hair, everything, they look fabulous. That's how these people look so amazing living in their cars.
Leave straight away and drive to Panera Bread. But first, the bathroom. Obviously, I used the restroom and washed my hands. I brushed my teeth in my car.
Because these are very young people, and it's very sad that they don't have the support that they need.
I don't know, like, that's weird to show on camera. I don't know why y'all are asking to see that. Anyways, now it's time to drink my hot bean juice to wake up and get some computer work done. So I use this as an opportunity to charge some of my electronics. And here I'm actually editing a YouTube video. So if you haven't already, be sure to go subscribe.
And that's the thing. All of these girls on here are being content creators surrounding their homelessness. And it's like, why don't you do something else more to make money? I mean, maybe they make money. I don't know. It just seems crazy to me. All of this, I don't understand.
Right there.
Like I said, brothers, man, you're going to have to watch out, because you guys are going to start seeing those hey big head texts from a lot of these women.
Now, see, he's warning guys about women being homeless. So now this makes guys even more apprehensive about dealing with women, It's very a weird situation that society has created, because men and women don't want each other. And it's like, what is that? I don't know. It's just very scary. What the outcome of this way of living is going to be on humanity in a few decades.
And you do not want them to throw you off your square. Keep traveling. Keep doing your thing, bros. So just know that they are going to be looking for a place to stay. Keep moving.
Good morning and welcome back to another day of a woman living in a tent. It's so nice out today, but I have to be at work in 1
So
hour.
this
So I
girl
gotta get
goes
ready
on
quick.
and on, and then one of her friends is missing, and she couldn't find her. Then she ends up finding the girl and whatnot.
Card and things like that, but most of them are living way better than this in that country. I could tell you that from all the women I've done dated.
Well, he's talking about, you know, how America is a third world country and that he dates women from all over the world. And, you know, in America, they do like to think that this country is so amazing and everywhere else is backwards and, you know, it's third world. But really, he's saying that the women are here and the people here are third world.
Or dealt with. You know, I can tell you this, from what's going on in the West, and you have to start thinking like, man, maybe this might be a third world country compared to all the other countries. Move on.
Might have a point.
Day 7, living in a homeless shelter. Start my morning off with journaling my thoughts and my feelings and what I'm thankful for. Meditation, because I'm really starting to lose my damn mind in here. The positivity is truth going out the window. Get my suitcase out, figure what I'm wearing, and also get my toiletries out so I can wash my face and brush my teeth. Deodorant, of course, cannot smell. Put my pajamas up. These things actually starting to make me sweat every night. Place one of my bags on top of the other to make it easier before I change my shoes. I put on different shoes today just because, why not? And put all my stuff in storage. So lay my edges down. Of course, this is all I have for breakfast. The food here has honestly gotten to me. Come do my voiceovers for my TikTok content and whatever else I need to finish up for the morning. They actually told me I got to stop coming up here. So there's that. I gave myself a tarot reading and it pretty much told me that.
To me, how she's spending her day is ridiculous to me. Because if I was freaking homeless, I would be out there trying to find work or find something. I would not be sitting on TikTok and doing tarot card readings. You know what I mean? Unless it was paying me money. I don't know if she make money from that. To me, it's crazy.
It's another rainy day, which means it's only so much that I'm going to be able to do.
This look like New York.
I usually like the rain, but with what's going on lately, I'm just kind of over it. Maybe just downtime was needed. I go to the 7-Eleven to figure out what I am going to eat because, like I said, I'm so tired of that food. I'm thankful, but I'm definitely tired of it. This is what I ate for today. A bunch of snacks. I try to keep it healthy. Of course, my free water. This wrap, they're okay. I mean, it's better than the damn shelter food. Apple juice because I'm trying to unbig my back. Take this, whatever the fuck this is, out because I eat healthy, but not that healthy. Come stand in line to get back in the shelter by 3 o'clock.
And see, that's why a lot of people don't want to live in the shelters because there's a lot of random people in there. They be having bed bugs and all kind of stuff, and they don't like the food. And like you have to get to the shelter at a certain time, or you'll get locked out of it and you won't get a spot. So she said she's there by 3 o'clock. You know what I mean? So how you gonna work when you have to be there to get your bed? And so, you know, it's a lot of politics that go into it because I feel like once you become homeless, it really is hard to get back on your feet.
And this is the building where the man set himself on fire yesterday. So there's that. The metal detector that we have to get into, and I finally got the elevator to myself for once, which is a rare occurrence. All smiles. Trying to go do my content, but little did I know, they sent out a mass email pretty much telling me that I couldn't. And I'm going to do a story time about that because you'd be surprised at how much people are very miserable, even though they pretend that they're people of God. This is the chapel where I was supposed to be doing my content, but then they told me to stop doing my tarot. As you can tell, I am officially the fuck over it.
Yeah, at least he's at a homeless shelter. He's more protected than it is living on the street in a car. But one thing that you guys notice, each one of these women, they are single. They don't have a man. Notice what happens when they don't have a man. They don't have protection. These women are living on the street. Hey, this is what happens when being strong and independent goes wrong. As you can see, each one of them are not in a good situation. Well, let me know what you guys think about the video. I'll tell you.
So all of these videos will be in the description. Anytime I come on here, any video that I post, shout out to the content creators. I put the links to their videos. on my YouTube channel, and you probably can see them in my Facebook too, but definitely on the YouTube channel. Oh, sorry guys, this is the last video, and I had to show y'all this because I had to let you see, like, the downside. They try and make it seem like this is so fabulous. That last girl was letting you know that this is not cute, and this lady right here, this was unbelievable to me because this lady has such an education and stuff, and it just goes to show how easily you can just end up on the street.
Mona, we're out here in a park by the airport, and this is where you live.
Correct.
Tell me about it.
Well, I came here via Santa Monica, I guess is where I first was at before I came here. I've been here for about 5 or 6 months, no, 5 months. And it was funny because we came here, we just knew the park was here. We didn't know anything about it, but it turned out the day we got here, we learned it was a safe zone just during the time of the virus, which means you could be here at night without being persecuted. So we decided we would stay here for a while, and we've been here for about 5 or 6 months now. And it is, I guess, a safe zone in general.
How did you end up homeless?
Well, on December 4th, 2017, my house burned down as part of the Thomas Fire, which at that time was the largest wildfire in California state history. It was in Ventura.
So look at this, just a freak event made this lady homeless. She lost her home and she was on the street.
County. I lived in the Upper Ojai on the edge of the forest, and they saved the homes down in Ventura, the city. So everything in the Upper Ojai kind of burned down, and hundreds of people were homeless like instantly overnight.
And you also lost your job.
I lost my job that same day. I worked from home, making phone calls for an insurance adjuster. I made $25 an hour, doing phone calls about 4 hours a day, setting up a schedule of appointments for him, and then faxing it to him or whatever. And it was great. My dog could be right there with me when I was working. I didn't have to drive anywhere. And then when the fire happened, I no longer had the home office to work at. So I kind of told him I had something at my mom's house, which wasn't true, but I wanted to keep the job.
Right.
And
so you see what happened, how easily everything fell apart for this woman, because she lost her house and then she had no way to do her work.
Kind of knew that couldn't be right or something, because he never really, I sent him that last invoice, which was dated like the day before the fire, and then I never had another project with him after that. He never said why exactly, but I think it had something to do with the lack of home office to make the phone calls in.
Now, you're a college graduate.
Which I think that's kind of shady, to know she got burned out of her house like that and just to let her go and not try to see if you could work for her. Like, that was terrible, but some people are heartless like that.
Yeah, no, I'm a college graduate. I have a bachelor's of science in mathematics, as well as nearly a master's of science in mathematics. I finished almost, but all but 2 classes. But I left there. I went to Berkeley to get my master's of science in industrial engineering and operations research and a certificate in logistics.
And so
she's like super educated. It doesn't have anything to do with that. Just a freak thing happened, and everybody's living paycheck to paycheck. It's so expensive to live anywhere, and she just got caught out there. It happens, If my place burnt down, God forbid, I don't know what I would do either. It can happen to anybody,
Here you are with masters and bachelors, and you're living in a park.
That's true. I mean, the initial thing behind that was the fire, but then there was a housing crunch that goes along with having a fire, and just all these different factors.
Yeah, because remember, she said hundreds of people lost their houses. So now everybody's looking for a place to live. And only the people that, have money saved and stuff like that and on point they're gonna get all those places first. And, if you don't have enough money, you're not going to get one of those places, and it probably filled up fast.
Led into it being longer and longer of me being homeless. It'd been a while since I had worked in my field of statistics. I used to work in electricity research, doing building efficiency research. I've published 8 journal articles. I had stopped doing that for about 10 years. That's where my real training is at. But
you said a statistician.
Yeah, statistician, like statistics, data analysis, that kind of thing. So I worked mainly for the California Public Utilities Commission, the California Energy Commission, Southern California Edison. We did the first study of its type in
And
the
it's
world.
like they just always think that everybody that's homeless is on drugs and stuff like that. Sometimes just freak things happen to you and you're out there like that, you know? I always try to have money saved for a rainy day. That's how I got through COVID, and that's how I barely made it through the writer's strike, you know? But anything, it could be anything, you know, and you know, you can't take that for granted. You know, I just saw this woman's story and it was like, damn, you know, that could happen to anybody.
Estimate the amount of electricity consumed by outdoor lighting in California, and they made Title 24 energy code modifications based on our study. Yeah.
So is anybody helping you?
Not that much. I mean, I think part of the problem is navigating the system and determining how to get the help. Because I mean, they come around here and they give us these weird lunches that some people eat. I don't really like them. I'm kind of picky eater, but but to actually get yourself like helped into a place, because I don't see how you can really work, like get a job and be a productive member of society living in the park. I mean, how do you get showered for the job interview and your suit on and there on time? And, you know, it's just too many.
That's why I said once you become homeless, it's very difficult to get to services because you don't have an address. They want to encourage you to go into a shelter so you can have an address, and a lot of people don't want to be in the shelters because they're unsafe and stuff like that. So, you know, it's very difficult once you get out there. It's going to be hard to make it back, you know? So that's why, I mean, I don't even know what the solution to these problems are. I really don't. I have no idea.
There's that could go wrong. So you have to be inside, I believe, till you can really like work and become productive. So I don't remember what you asked me that got me started.
Because we talked about it earlier.
She's right. You have to have a place to live to be productive. You know what I mean? That's why I said all these people living in their cars and living in a van and, you know, this and that. Like, I just don't see how they're productive. You know, you have no address. Your kids can't be in school because you don't have an address. You know, so how productive are they? How are they going to change to elevate their frequency? I don't know.
Is anybody helping you?
Yeah. I think there are some services out there, but navigating the system to find them and get connected with them is a whole other story. So nobody's really helping me right now. I mean, I get some food stamps and general relief from.
I was going to ask that. How do you survive? So you're getting GR, and for those that don't know, that's like $200 a month. 225
maybe.
Yeah, 200 and something like that.
Yeah.
And you get food stamps,
which luckily just increased about $50.
Oh,
so that's great. Yeah.
But out here, it's hard. You can't to keep food.
So how's she gonna get another place to live off of $250 a month and food stamps and no address? It's like a vicious cycle. It's like now she's out there. It's gonna be next to impossible for her to uplift herself unless she gets in somewhere where she can pull herself together and get a job. And you know, she's stuck. I never see like social services as a hand up usually. It just keeps you stuck. And you have to be very cunning to get yourself off of that treadmill.
No, I waste so much food just from buying it because I refuse to only eat I need things that, they're going to go bad, like cheese. I survive on cheese. So, you know, it's a lot of times I have to throw it away because I didn't have a refrigeration. And we can't cook any hot food ever. Like, that's one thing that's really lacking.
When you said hard to navigate social services, I mean, there's people coming out here and explain the navigate part. I mean, because we talked about it a little bit earlier, and I'm sure there's outreach that comes out here, but they're just, you said, overloaded.
That's part of it, is that there's so many people for them to help, and they're probably short-staffed at their organizations because they probably don't pay that much. And so they have 100 people they're trying to help. That one person doesn't. Things slip through their mind. They lose track of what everybody needs. Mm-hmm. So they can't, you know what I mean? They're overworked. But the other part of navigating the system is in order to get placed with a voucher, let's say a housing voucher, you have to be referred through this CES system and this like scoring key that they have. So a lot of people don't understand that or
This is
what
deep
that means. They've never even
explain.
filled out the survey to get the score, so they're never going to change their housing situation.
And you're talking, so the coordinated entry.
Yeah, the CES
And then
survey.
they have different ways of
linking you
the
up.
survey that you're talking about is to see how vulnerable you are, to
Right.
see if you're worthy of help, the worthy, poor, and unworthy.
Well, what they do is they
You
go
heard what he
down
said, the worthy poor and the unworthy poor. You're worthy of help or you're unworthy of help. But look how they determine. This is why I say it's bullshit and it's not really set up to help people.
list in descending order of scores. So the higher your score, the more crucial it is, I guess, for you to get inside.
Right.
And so therefore, those are the people they award the matches to first.
But see, I understand that because I think we have a...
There's no favoritism that way.
Yeah, well, I think we need, people that are closer to death, we need to help. But also, like you, if you were in housing, if they came and housed you, in a year or so, you would be able to restabilize. You would heal.
And see, that's the point. That's what I'm saying. It's like a treadmill. You're going to help the drug addict person. You're going to help the crackhead mother get her kids and give them a place to be. It's like, to me, single people like this are the last to get any help. The last. And he's right. A person like this, you can help them for a little while and they're going to get on their feet and you ain't going to never see them ever again. You understand? If her house would have never caught on fire, she would never be in this situation. You know what I mean? And it is messed up. I feel like it's designed to keep people down. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any other sense to me. Like he said, you're going to take somebody that's damn near dead, that's 80 years old, about to die, and that you're going to have to take care of for indefinitely to their dead or indefinitely on their drug problem or whatever over helping somebody like this. What a choice to have to make, but I just feel like they should offer more resources to these people because these are people that will never come back. That's just really sad.
Then you would go back into society. You're a college graduate.
Exactly.
But if they wait until you're vulnerable, that means that social services is going to be taking care of you for the rest of your life.
See what I'm saying? That's the point. That's exactly what I'm saying, is that they want her to stay out there until she gets so destitute, mental disorder or something, before they help her. As long as she's, in her right mind, she's not dying, she's not on drugs or anything like that, they're not going to really do anything to help her. And that's the sad part.
Luckily for me, I've had some fairly intense, not luckily for me, I've had some fairly intense trauma in my past, things that are like unheard of, like almost out of this world kind of thing. So I actually, because of my mental health status, I do rate a fairly high score. And I did need an outreach.
These people have to damn near be crazy or prove that they're crazy to get help. You can't just say, oh, I fell on a hard time, my house burned down, help me get a house and a job, and I'll be going forever. They don't help people like that. And that makes no sense. No sense.
Worker the other day who told me he thinks he can raise my score 2 or 3 points, and I'm getting in touch with him to make that happen. Yeah.
It's
when you see the game, the only way you get that high score of help is to be the most destitute, to be crazy, to be on drugs, to be, I don't know, anything but a person that really probably could pull themselves up. So this lady is trying to figure out how to get a higher score and look more of a derelict or somebody crazy so that she can get help. Nobody's going to help her in her right mind. And that is crazy to me.
Sad that they have to prioritize people like that. It should be...
Well, here's the thing that used to happen before this system was in place. I believe in the system, the CES system, actually, because before that, they would call up the local housing shelter of their town, like Santa Monica, would call up one in Santa Monica and say, hey, we've got 30 vouchers. And the lady there's going to hand them out to the people she likes. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so if she doesn't like you, you're kind of after, you're never going to get anything happening. Yeah. Whereas with the CES system, it's objective. Anybody can verify your scoring, as well as, they can say this is the order in which we contacted people.
Well, CES is a good idea, One of the problems is all nonprofits aren't equal.
Right.
So they all don't get the support. So being able to route you to the services that you need or the housing, and then the other issue is there's lack of housing.
Yeah, that's, I think, one of the main issues is just the overall lack of actual housing units to go through the population. Because I just read this interesting thing today that in the 2000s, for every one housing unit that was built, there was an increase in population in LA of 2 people. So that's half the rate. Nowadays, for every one housing unit built, it's 4 new people in LA or whatever. So basically,
more and more people are becoming homeless and they don't have the housing. So there's no solution to this problem. If they wanted to help you, they don't have anywhere to put you. I really do feel that they should prioritize these people that can actually help themselves. I don't get it. I don't know.
They're building about 1/4 of the percentage of what they need. You know what I mean? Or 1/4 of the total.
Well, I don't know what the statistics are. That's your expertise, right? What I do know is that Los Angeles is really good at building luxury housing and really bad at building low-income housing.
Yeah.
So you're talking about trauma. Most homeless people out here have experienced some kind of trauma.
That's true. Just being out here, you're exposed all the time, 24/7, and eventually you're going to come across something bad. Actually, my trauma happened indoors.
Right.
I made the wrong people pissed off, and I went through a lot. I'm not going to get into the particulars.
No, I'm not. I'm just.
No, I know you're not.
Yeah.
Everybody has it, though. Most homeless people have gone through it.
The trauma caused them here, and then being here is more trauma.
More trauma.
Yeah.
Some people's traumas are way more extreme than others. I've noticed. Like some people, what they call trauma, I'm like, oh my god, that's a walk in the park, or whatever. But it's traumatic for them. Exactly. So
exactly.
We have to accept that that's their reality.
If you had 3 wishes, what would they be?
To be back inside in a house where I can shower every day, wash my clothes, comb my hair, just be having good hygiene practices and stuff to be inside.
See, these are the things that we take for granted. And like a lot of homeless people say that, they just want to be clean. Like everybody thinks like they're disgusting or whatever, but that's not how they choose to live. They just don't have no choices. Their circumstances that allow them to be this. Throughout my research, one of the videos I got, but I didn't want to show it because it was just kind of graphic and a little gross, but the women spoke about, having their periods and being homeless. I always would watch Walking Dead and stuff like that. And I was like, how do these women, what do they do when they get their menstrual cycle? Like out here, what do you call it? A post-apocalyptic world or whatever. These people are kind of living that lifestyle. And I always wondered that. And the girl did do a video about it. You can look it up and see it if you want. But it just, I can't imagine being homeless and having a menstrual cycle and cramps and, PMS and all that. It's just a very stressful life. I can't imagine. And I'm sure this lady is younger than she looks because it's just going to add years on your life, that amount of stress, and worry. You know what I mean? And it's just very sad, you know what I mean? And I feel like living in your car or living in a truck is a better option than what this lady is going through. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's really turning into a problem. And the reason why I'm showing this is because I want people to be mindful and try to elevate your frequency while you can and do better with your finances and stuff like that. Because I just say, like, if I didn't save my money good, I would be screwed as a single parent with COVID and the writer strikes and all these things and work slowdowns and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to always think about a rainy day. You know what I mean? And, it can't rain forever. But the way the system is set up for people that are homeless, it might rain forever for them. Because I don't see how you can get out of this situation the way the system is set up. And it's not right. I just feel like it should be more help for people that are in a position to really help themselves and never come back. Very sad.
For that and to cook. And so that's one wish. I wish I could go back to my former career of data analyst for electricity research because I really did love that job, and whatever the facts are that I was good at it too. I just getting back to it seems almost insurmountable at this time.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not. Once I'm inside, then it's that much easier. But
And these are the things we all take for granted. This lady says she just wants to be inside because she knows if she can get inside and get in a house somewhere where she has a phone and internet and her computer and stuff like that, she can do what she has to do. If she's inside and she can take a shower, you know what I'm saying, and get a decent night's sleep, she could get up and find a job. It's like you can't get anything done when you're living on the street and you have no address and no home. It's just I just felt bad when I heard this woman's story because you have these women living in their cars, talking about, I'm living my best life. Hey, I'm independent, whatever, and here's somebody that wants to be inside and wants to get back into a house. How do you do that? Are these girls going to live in their cars for the rest of their life? Is this lady going to live in the park for the rest of their life? Like, how do you help people like this? It just really was heartbreaking to me. And I hope that this lady, made it to where she want to be. I would just think that you would help people that want to help themselves. But that's not the case for this system.
at this point in time, it's too much. And the third wish would be a dog. I want a dog. I had a dog when the fire happened, and then it came down to just being me and the dog for a long time. And then the dog died on June 2019.
That's sad.
Which was terrible. So I really wish I had a dog with me right now to travel my path. A little one, white poodle mix or something. Poodle mix.
Great wishes. Well, thank you very much for talking to me.
Thank you for your time, Mark, and for considering me.
That's very sad. That's sad. You know what I mean? And that's just one story of thousands of people in this country that's just suffering, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And just like the World Economic Forum told us, you will own nothing and be happy. They want society to collapse like this. They want everybody to be homeless because you're not using up their resources. You don't cost a lot to maintain and stuff like that. It costs what? $200, $250 a month and some food stamps to support this lady. You understand? So it's by design. It's like they want to collapse these countries. It's like that's what they're doing. And if you go on their website, they'll tell you what the plans are. To get rid of as many people as possible because there's too many useless people using up their resources. That's what they say. So I just wanted to, try to unpack this a little bit and see, if I can help anybody elevate their frequency into elevating themselves above a situation like that, because that is not the move, living in a car or a truck with your kids. And I mean, people are saying I'm judging and I don't know and stuff like that. I wouldn't want to live in a car with my son, and God forbid that would ever happen to me, but one girl said it. She was living beyond her means. And this lady right here says she had a fire just like that. You could be doing all the right things and you have a fire and you're on the street. So I would implore y'all to stop wasting your money buying $1,000 wigs and all kind of stuff, and save that money in case of something like this is to happen, so that you can relocate yourself. You could even do a roommate situation or something when you're single, or like some of these girls bought vans and live in a truck or whatever. When you're single, it don't matter. I just don't think anybody wants to live on the street to the magnitude of that lady that we just saw. So you guys think about it. And it just was very disturbing to me, this whole rabbit hole of homelessness. I guess it is a blessing to people that can live in their car, and as long as they can afford to maintain it. But if you're like the lady we just saw that doesn't have a job and she's only getting $200 and something, what's her option? So it's just something to think about. You guys save your money. Plan for a rainy day. Tomorrow is not promised. And you see, the girl in the shelter told you, and this the lady at the end, the system is not going to work for you when you get in that situation. So I would say don't get in that situation. If you're in a relationship with a guy, and he's asking you to work with him. Two heads are better than one. Two incomes are better than one. We don't live in a society anymore where, one income is enough. Two incomes is not even enough a lot of the time. Build, by the grace of God, I'm older. I was lucky, I chose the right career path and it worked out for me, but now the industry is getting different. I don't feel secure in it anymore. So I'm looking at other options and I have to hustle other things, So, this was very, it was heartbreaking and a little sad to watch this one, but like I said, we have to elevate our frequencies. None of us want to end up in this condition. So I would suggest you save your money, learn how to invest your money properly, because that's what saved me is my saving and all my investments. Now it's been almost 5 years, you know what I'm saying? So of course, all of that is running out, and I'm kind of like, a paycheck to paycheck person too. Shit, if my house caught on fire, I don't know what I would do either. Shit. I don't see no laundry list of people that I think I could go and stay with or nothing like that. It could happen to anybody. So I just want you guys to think about all these things. And if we're going to try to elevate our frequency, we have to really plan for the future and, be more frugal and think about what you're going to do in these situations and try to prepare for it. People always ask me as a single mother, how I got through COVID and how I got through the writer's strike and, how I did, because I'm frugal. When there's work, I save my damn money. That's why. And that's how I get through, it's been a little, it's not like it used to be, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad to have more time home to spend with my son, and being at the industry is getting very, uncertain. It's made me think outside the box of other things I could do and stuff like that. So I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket anymore. So you guys just think like that, because it's only going to get harder. You understand? So now take the time now to elevate your frequency. Okay. And, I really don't even have any advice or anything for this one, because this is a toughie. But I'm going to go now. Gotta make my baby's dinner. So you guys, it was lovely. Anybody that sat through this with me, I love you. I appreciate anybody that's watching. This means I love you in sign language. And, if you're watching this with me, I really do. I love everybody, but, I have a special place in my heart for the people that actually sit with me and support me in this. I really do. And, elevate your frequency, elevate your frequency. Study, figure out all of the different ways you can elevate your frequency. I have tons of videos to help you do that. And I wish you all the best and have a lovely evening. I love you. I am Shelly B. I got to go. This was a long one and this was a sad one. So hopefully when I come back, it's something a little bit more lighthearted. But I just felt this was something that needed to be said because it is a problem. So I love you guys. Thanks for watching and have a great evening. I am Shelly B.